Welcome to another episode of the Criterion Cult podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jordan Garcia. We got
Diego the Demon Diaz.
Hell yeah.
You got a cool nickname. Ignacio Yelma here.
You got a cool nickname, Nacho. Everyone loves nachos.
I'm going to get you one, don't worry.
And Armando Arvizu.
Hell
guys.
yeah.
What's up?
That's our four guests. Our four hosts.
Yeah, no, we're guests. We're guests.
Yeah, you are guests on my podcast. That's the four hosts, and if you don't know what the Criterion podcast is, what we do is we talk about a film that is in the Criterion Collection, and then each one of us brings a film that we think should be in the Criterion Collection, and then the rest of us vote it in. Today are my picks, and we're going to be talking about Shallow Grave from 1994. That was directed by Danny Boyle, and it's got Ewan McGregor, Christopher Eccleston, I believe. He was a Doctor Who, if anybody is into that, and Kerry Fox. And that's one is on Criterion, and later on we'll be talking about Night Moves. But yeah, we'll just get into Shallow Grave, which is pretty much about three friends who are looking for a roommate. They finally find one, and he ends up overdosing on drugs, and he's got a bunch of money under his bed. They take it and they try to figure out what to do with it, and it just kind of spirals into crazy stuff from there. It's just things get violent and greedy.
Yeah.
Sir.
It's Danny Boyle's first movie.
Directorial debut.
And it's actually Ewan McGregor's second movie.
What was his first movie?
I believe it was something that he wasn't even really in that much. I think he was just kind of like a side character.
Oh.
So, I mean, he was really giving it his all in this one. If you guys haven't seen it, I mean, because all these characters are assholes.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
right off the bat, like right at the beginning
Yeah.
of the movie, they basically, yes, they're assholes.
yeah, because you see that they're trying to get roommates. They're trying to interview roommates, and they just treat them like shit.
Yeah.
And they just do all these
It's like a
silly
joke
shit.
more than, yeah.
Yeah, they're not really trying to find anybody. They're just trying to fuck with people.
It was a bad beginning to a 90s sitcom. That's what the whole beginning was.
It was?
Like, it was so lame.
Okay, yeah.
It was so bad. Like,
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
So it starts off with them, the three roommates. It's who's it? Ewan McGregor, Alex Waugh, and then Kerry Fox, who's Juliet, and then Chris, the Doctor Who David. And so they're interviewing like a potential.
I'm gonna call you Mono the Doctor Who Arvizu.
Yeah, I like that.
So they're interviewing potential roommates, but they're kind of doing it as a joke and like all like campy and like kind of lame and
Yeah, saying dumb things to them, asking them stupid questions,
like things that are supposed to be like edgy. Like
Yeah.
the answer's easy. You're either divorced or you're not. Like it was like,
or like at one point, Ewan McGregor just riding around on a bike, and like one of them sitting on a couch, and he's just like circling around them,
They're
like asking
posing,
them wacky things.
Taking photos.
Yeah, that's
taking
the biggest
pictures
thing that
and
I
all.
caught that I was like, I
With
don't
that
know,
goth
I didn't know
chick.
how I was going to feel about
She
it
looked goth.
coming into the movie with that, because I was
this
like,
movie is totally all over the place. It felt like.
It is, but I mean, I don't think so. It's a dark comedy. Sure, the comedy at the beginning isn't that funny to you, but it's supposed to be dark comedy. It may not
I
come.
guess,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
It may come off as campy TV show shit. And Danny Boyle, that's Mondo's calling you out. He wants to go Irish to Irish.
That music, dude, totally of that time, 90s, like that techno-y kind of...
Well, yeah, exactly. The whole
like,
beginning.
all of that was just like, oh my god. Like...
Yeah, it does freak you. It kind of like gets you to be like, oh shit, what did...
it's
this is going to be a 90s...
it's a Run Lola Run, where it's like this fast like techno beat stuff or whatever, and then it jumps into a 90s sitcom. It was it was like a bad like intro to a show.
Yeah, it reminded me of like Trainspotting or
because
24-hour Party People.
Well,
just
it's
like,
it's the same director as Trainspotting.
oh really?
Yes.
Okay.
Danny Boyle.
So he
Do you know?
directed that.
I've seen Trainspotting. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Sounds
Danny
familiar.
Boyle kind of has that sort of like.
Say that's style.
That kind of British techno style is what it is.
That
pretty
Euro
much.
trash style.
Yeah. Oh shit. Again, shit. Mondo's saying, Danny, meet him at the pub
I haven't seen this hate
For a
since
pint.
Von Trier.
for a pint in a pool or whatever.
I'm not a fan, obviously.
Okay. Well, and look, I'm not a big Danny Boyle fan either, but I really actually enjoy this movie because I think it's just pretty tight. It's a nice, tight little thriller. There's no fat to it. And mostly a lot of that has to do with the fact that he didn't have any money to probably put fat to it and add, a bunch of nonsense to it. To me, it just sort of, it's simple, right? These three friends who live with each other, find some money. A guy overdosed in their apartment. They was like, should we call the cops? they end up not calling the cops, so they have to figure out a way to dispose of the body, and then each of them start just to sort of get paranoid about each other, who's going to try to take the money, and then it's just sort of like, well, who's going to call the cops on who, and it just sort of like kind of, you know, it's not like a bunch of twists and turns, but there sort of is, you know, there's like some nice surprises, I think, in the movie that come out, especially for a movie that's not like a huge budget. It reminds me of the Coen Brothers' Blood Simple, which is also on the Criterion Collection, as well as Christopher Nolan's Following, which is also on the Criterion Collection.
Is it? I haven't seen Following. I've tried to watch it, but I don't know. I just never get through it.
I think Following gets better as it goes. It's the same thing. It starts off kind of like, you're kind of like, oh, what, you know? Yeah. It feels sort of low budget. It feels kind of outdated in a way. But then if you go with it, I think if you take the ride, I think you're, at least for me, I was, rewarded. In Shallow Grave, I had seen it before because I own it on Blu-ray, so I bought it a long time ago during a sale, just sort of on a whim because I like the cover. Yeah. Which is something that I just do a lot with Criterion. Again, Criterion, you know, please send me something. Anything. We'll take anything. Okay. But yeah, like, so watching it this time, because I hadn't seen it since the first time I bought it, which has been a while. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I was kind of scared because I was like, damn, sometimes, you know, you watch things that you bought and you're like, damn, I bet you I'm going to regret that I bought this. And this wasn't the case because actually just, again, I enjoyed the thriller aspect of it. It reminded me of Blood Simple in that, you know, Christopher Nolan talking about making Following, he says that when you're making low budget films, like, don't put guns in it because the only guns you could usually get are like pretty fake looking and you can never get really good gun sounds and stuff like that. So they all like use stuff like hammers. I mean, the Coen brothers were able to get all that stuff, so they were able to get like more money. But I'm saying, like, in Following, there's a hammer.
Is that the advice you would give the Coen brothers, Mr. Christopher Nolan?
Well, obviously, but I'm just saying,
no,
like,
I know.
As like when you're starting out as a filmmaker,
that
like,
was cool. Like, they had like the shovel, like, you know,
right?
like,
Nobody ever had a gun. Yeah. Everyone, all the violence was with like knives
and like the drill
shit like that.
and stuff like that.
That's really smart, actually. That's something I would have never thought of. It's pretty brilliant that they.
What?
I'm sorry, did I say no?
Yeah, you said no. You said no.
I said no, Diego, you're wrong. No, I don't know why. Dude, I'm tripping out. Okay,
it'd be really funny if you're just gonna disagree with anything Diego says. He's like, yeah, well, it was a movie, and you're like, no.
It was not a movie.
I have no clue.
Sorry, Diego.
My bad, Diego. Go for it.
Yeah. No, that's smart. I would have never thought of that. That's great that he.
That is cool. I like that aspect of it, like the saw and like the drill and all the shovels and stuff, and like the cover is cool. And that you mentioned that earlier.
It really gives
makes
that
you want to watch it.
I thought it just maybe gives it like a different feel. Who was it? Cronenberg, you know, in Eastern Promises, you know, where they have that scene. I'm sorry to bring up another movie, but when they have the scene in like the showers, like he wanted to use these specific knives. Maybe not that mobsters use it, but it kind of just gives a feel to that scene. So maybe I thought, you know, the use of weapons, because I didn't notice the whole no guns thing. Just maybe it gives it like I don't know, maybe, I guess, like when, you know, they say like when you use like knives or anything like that, it's something that's more personal, you know, kind of. Yeah.
Right, and so, it's a little more, it could be also more gory, more violent.
Yeah.
And especially in the case of what the scene that you're talking about in Cronenberg, where Viggo Mortensen's flopping around naked.
Yes.
You're talking about the knife that he brings there, which is his dick.
Well, that
a different kind of knife.
Oh, super knife. Yes, but
no,
monsters, yes.
Yeah, because that scene wouldn't have been as like kind of uncomfortable and violent if he would have like brought out a gun and shot him or something. Yeah, well, because he gets stabbed, and the same thing with here.
They do that here when what's his name, David he draws the short straw. So the roommate, they're gonna bury him. They have to do it, and none of them want to do it. Of course, you know? They want to keep the money, but they don't want to.
Do the dirty work.
Deed.
Yeah, no.
I don't mean to interrupt you, Mono, really quick. I guess in case people pop in, you know, we should always say that we're gonna do spoilers. But yes. I just always say, you know, let people know.
Episode 9, 10, what is this?
People might not always be listening to it straight through.
I'm joking. Thank you, Jordan. As I was saying. No, but yeah, that's funny that you bring up the whole like Eastern Promises scene, that you wanted to get a different feel, and then this too, that you're not using like guns and stuff, like kind of making things a little easier to kill someone. Yeah. It gives it a different feel, like, and it gives David a whole like, after David has to decapitate the head because he chooses the short straw.
Yeah, which is Doctor Who.
Yeah, Doctor Who.
Christopher
Doctor Who character.
Eccleston.
Yeah, so that it completely changes his character
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like he goes, like he's the one. Like they almost create a monster. Like,
Yeah.
Because he's the one who starts like what do you call it? Like
He starts to get really paranoid.
Super paranoid, and is like, and he's the one that's like the wild card. Like you don't know what like how their dynamic is. Like yes, he's the quiet one, but then all of a sudden he's the one who's like who wants to hide the money,
right?
Who wants to, and then he kills again, and he
Yeah.
already has that like bloodthirst kind of thing.
But he brings
on.
it up too. He tells him like, you guys didn't.
Yeah, you guys didn't want to, and
didn't
he's,
cut them
like,
apart
ready
or
to
whatever.
Do it again.
Yeah, and really quick to
Yeah.
explain, I don't know if we really explained it, but Ewan McGregor's sort of like the loudmouth, kind of more alpha male one. He talks shit about the Doctor Who guy all the time, makes fun of him, and the Doctor Who guy's more buttoned up.
He's this
like the frat dude.
The frat dude.
And then David's more buttoned
Uptight,
up, like a accountant guy who's more uptight, more reserved, more to himself. And then like Kerry Fox, who
she's kind of a hoe.
I mean, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I would
she's
say
always
that
getting like calls.
I mean, come on. I mean, she's just hanging out
From Swedish Man.
That's true.
Who else?
Yeah.
And like they all kind of have this like sexual attraction to each other where no one really belongs to anybody.
It wouldn't be the 90s if it wasn't.
And once the money comes into play, she does kind of start using it to her advantage. And why not, right? Like they're all just trying to get the money from each other.
They're all these good friends. Like in the beginning, they're all these wacky.
But even are they though? That's the thing. Like let's even talk about that because as pieces, they're just all pieces of shit. And I think that's the only reason they can stand each other.
Yeah.
Is how big of pieces of shit they are.
And
I think about that, and I think about this friendship that we have between the four of us.
Perfect.
And then Night moves later. We'll see that,
Well,
just four pieces of shit. Just driving on that.
Perfect.
Someone's. Three people are gonna die after this podcast ends.
So there's only be one survivor, huh?
Good lord.
Only one.
Well, but all right. Jeez.
That being said,
Well, I guess
She
in
got
both of them
dark.
there was two survivors.
yeah. No, there's not. Yeah, but I'm saying because like in this one, they're not even really friends in any kind of way. It's just it's always manipulating each other. They're always playing each other.
well, it seems like the only time they get together is just to ridicule people. Like when, exactly, when they're being assholes.
They're being
Besides
pieces of
that,
shit,
they kind of just like in their own world. They don't really seem like they're close.
They've never
No.
There's never like a real genuine moment with them. Maybe
It's-
Kerry Fox tries sometimes, but it's really to manipulate them to get something from them because they're all just doing that to each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you never really know. And then even like that, the fact that they would let Christopher Eccleston, Doctor Who, go and live up in the what they call the loft, which is an attic.
Yeah.
Here in America.
Yeah, because they're not roommates; they're flatmates.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
they live in a flat.
Yeah, this is Flatlands. I imagine it takes place in Ireland because Scotland.
I was gonna
Yeah,
try an
Scotland, you're
accent,
right.
but I was like, no.
we don't have to do that.
So
we don't
bad.
have to do that. We don't gotta ever do
So
that.
bad.
Good.
But so the fact that they let him kind of go live up there, have the cash stashed up there, and then drill holes in the thing, and
Well,
just
this is all David who's doing this.
That's what I'm
He's
saying.
a
The
parent.
Doctor Who guy.
Yeah.
That's like to spy on them. The fact that Ewan McGregor and Kerry Fox live there so and don't try to figure something out in any way. To them, they're just like, well, fuck it. He's going crazy. We'll just try to sneak just sneak around
sneak out
and
one
kind of
day,
walk on eggshells all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's just kind of like, they're just all shitty people, and they're just trying to wait for a time to get the money.
Yeah.
They don't care about anything else. They don't care about his mental health. They don't care about their well-being. They just want the fucking money.
Yeah, this really
and then-
teaches you that there's no honor among thieves at all. As soon as
among fake friends.
as soon as money's involved, it's just kind of like, well, no, I want it all for myself.
Especially something like that.
Well, that's the theme. In
Where you
both
didn't earn it,
films.
you all didn't earn it, and for some reason you all think you're owed something from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they just found a guy dead.
Yeah.
They found a guy dead with his dick out, and all they were concerned about was a
Literally, yeah.
suitcase full of money.
Like
it
who
took them a
doesn't
while.
immediately
Well,
call
but
the
wasn't
police?
Doctor Who
Yeah.
though anti that at the beginning? Like he was kind of
Yeah, he
was the most
He's the
worried
only
about
one,
it. Where
he's the only one that changed. Yes, they both kind of get greedy.
Kind of had morals at
like
the
Ewan
beginning.
McGregor and Kerry Fox.
Yeah.
And David is the only one who feels something after doing it because he's the one who had to actually kind of not murder him. He was already dead, but slice him up and cut him.
Yeah.
He's the only one who feels anything after. Like that's so weird. And Ewan McGregor and Kerry are just living their lives still.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, they think it's funny
Yeah.
to there's a
Buying
really
all
good
kinds of
scene
shit.
Yeah.
right when they buy a bunch of stuff and then he comes and he's just like, how much did you pay for this?
Yeah.
And after he just keeps asking
that's a
like
good quote
them,
from this
like he
movie.
keeps asking him about a video camera. How much you pay for this? How much did you pay for this? And after she says 500, and then after he's just like he's all, that's how much you paid for this. She's like, well, that's how much it cost. And he's just like, no, like we don't know how much this stuff costs yet.
Yeah.
Like we know how much money you paid for it. Like we're not gonna know how much it costs till later.
We don't know how much it costs us yet.
Which basically means so eventually you find out there's some guys who are looking for that money, as in every situation like that, that's what's gonna happen. You find a suitcase full of money, there's gonna be someone looking for it.
Yeah.
And so that's the case here. So these two guys, they kind of go in and out throughout the story and show them kind of just beating people up and just kind of torturing people, trying to find out information. At first, you're not really sure how it connects. I mean, you do get that he sort of connects with the roommate.
You get that they're looking for this money, obviously, because what else? Why would they be showing this? But I mean,
right.
It's really they don't
explain it too much.
There's no explanation at all. You know, just that these two guys are torturing someone to find that money that the guy who died.
Was his name Ed?
Well, before that, right? I mean, it was a little confusing to me where they're interviewing him, right, for the flat, right?
Yeah.
The guy who they took the money from, who ended up ODing. They ask him, have you ever killed anyone? And then he was like, no. And then that's when they flash back into a scene, or they go to a scene where those two guys who end up pursuing them later are smashing some guy into an ATM, or I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, which is actually a pretty interesting shot.
Scene. Yeah,
because it shows it from the point of view of the ATM.
From inside the ATM,
Yeah.
yes, the camera.
So it's like you
shooting out.
see what he's seeing on the screen, and then you see him getting his ass whooped.
Yeah.
Which is It's very cool.
Yeah, that was dope.
Violence
it reminded
is
me
awesome.
of the RoboCop or something like
Yes,
that.
Yeah.
it did have that kind of feel.
Yeah, but it was. Yeah.
But very
That was a
low
great
budget.
shot.
I mean, this film's pretty low budget, in the kind of the best way, not in a bad way. To me, I think it's like one of those low budgets where it made them think on their feet, and so they gave like the best that they could do. But that's what the best that they wouldn't have done as good if they had more money.
Yeah, exactly.
They would have
They had to
overstuffed
think
it.
more. They had to we had to work with what we had and had to solve problems. You know, and I like that. I that's the thing. I didn't hate this movie. Like, as much as I'm not a Danny Boyle fan. Like,
no, for sure.
It was like
no, and again,
definitely very watchable and like pretty cool. I've never seen it before, but I mean, I don't know if it's something I'd keep rewatching or purchase. You know,
for sure.
But it was definitely.
Well, I don't
watch.
regret my purchase if that's what you're trying to say. Okay.
Criterion's
gonna send me free stuff. I think it would be a good
movie to watch with a group of people. You know.
Yeah.
Rather than just by yourself, but because it is kind of like. The tone, like, it starts off wacky, then it kind of gets like a Tales from the Crypt episode, kind of. Just with the music,
like the suspense,
you know,
the suspense build up,
The music makes it feel like a Tales from the Crypt episode.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
When they're burying the guy.
That's true.
And then it gets kind of like that campy horror, that like 80s kind of, like, you know, which is cool. Like, but it's all over the place, but it's not.
Then it's
also not that bad. It's just, but that first scene really bothered me, but I let it go as the film went on, you know.
And the end, like, kind of like is sort of like this weird, like, it makes it seem like there's like this like love triangle thing too, like when they're leaving and they're gonna try to leave, and Ewan McGregor is just like, yeah, go ahead, leave.
Yeah.
And like they all kind of figure out that they're all trying to fuck each other, you know.
But because he knows, you know.
Yeah.
Because he knows.
Because he knows.
Yeah, he knows. Like, yeah, leave. You got the money, leave. But they.
He's trying to get. Yeah, he's trying.
Right,
to get
Ewan McGregor did a sneak. He did a snake. Everyone's doing snakes. I'm telling you, you gotta. I mean, you know, I was trying not to give away too much, Mono. That's why I didn't say. Just, you know, I mean, we're doing spoilers, but I'm not trying to give away every single little detail, because there's a lot of little things that pop up towards the end that I think are interesting here.
Definitely.
You know, that are pretty cool. You know, if you just want to see this film. No, but again, hopefully people will start listening to it. Go like, oh, that sounds interesting. Pause it. Go watch the film. Come back. Listen to me saying this.
And then, then comment on the Instagram. Tell us how you think of the film. Criterion Cult Pod at Instagram.com.
Wait, what? At Criterion Cult Pod on Instagram.
On Instagram.
Quick question on the movie though.
Backwards.
Ewan McGregor, when he had that knife in his chest on the floor, and the detectives or
you mean lightsaber?
The lightsaber, yes, the lightsaber in his chest, or was he still alive, or was that just him kind of like a, you know, like, I just felt it's kind of funny how like the cops are looking at him, he just kind of like
just taking
smiling.
Pictures.
Yeah, and
maybe
he just
it was
stuck
because of how like I don't know, I don't want to give it away, but
well, I mean,
you know,
well, like, yeah, so, well, no, the thing is that it is sort of like like a
it's still-
Sunset Boulevard kind of thing where they show that
it's-
that guy Doctor Who guy's dead right at the beginning.
Yeah,
you
it's
know that already.
Yeah, but
yeah,
but the Ewan McGregor character, he could be dead, but
That's
it's
what I was
still,
wondering if he's
but he
like-
still got the fuck you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Because
That's
he knows she thinks she got away with it, and that's the funny thing too. When she's fucking crying and she's all upset in the car. And I was like, oh shit, she finally fucking feels something. But then and then it shows like,
why.
Yeah, that's what I thought
Exactly.
too. Yeah.
no, she
Yeah,
was
that's
still
what
a
I thought.
fucking bitch to
Yeah.
the bitter end, you know, like.
Oh.
Well, I mean, they all were.
I
They're
like
all pieces
this
of
mod,
crap,
though.
you know,
no,
like-
I wasn't. Hey, you're right. To the bitter end, buddy.
What's that nickname you
Right?
gave?
Like-
Doctor Who. Made
No,
it
yeah,
all-
I mean they were all bitches to the bitter end. All of them. I mean,
they're all crap. They all
They were all
crappy
shitty people,
You know?
yeah.
Like,
yeah, they're all acting like shits.
yeah.
And I think that again, I think that's a good thing that's why he established that at the beginning to be like, look, you shouldn't care about any of these people
Yeah.
because they're all just gonna
Yeah, look at
fucking
these
get. They
fucking-
need to get what they deserve.
Yeah.
Like in a lot of ways,
Yeah, because no good people would do that. Like, just interview people to be fucking piece of crap to them, and like take pictures with them and be like dumb like
Yeah.
shits to them, you know. And then of course the person they do let in, it's because the girl thinks he's kind of good looking or whatever. Just
Yeah.
like
Because
a
he thinks he's
guy.
interesting because
you
he
know.
has like things to say.
Yeah, he's like intriguing, sort of. You
Kind
know,
of
like-
mysterious.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
that mysterious,
exactly.
that silent type thing. Yeah.
But yeah, and then of course he's like some degenerate guy. You know?
Yeah, but I mean, I think it pairs well with Night Moves because it goes on the same kind of premise. That
It
sort of
does,
paranoia and greed that, like, that friends, in this case, I don't think these fucking people were friends.
They
Well,
were
in
all
both,
friends.
in both
They're
movies
that
cases,
20-year-old friendships
they're not
when
really
you,
friends. They just sort of, they kind of, in the case of Shallow Grave, they just sort of were able to hang out with each other because they're just a bunch of assholes.
But
And
because
nobody
they
else
live together, so they're hanging out with each other.
but
you know?
but also, I mean, because they're assholes. The only reason they could live with each other because they're a bunch
Yeah.
of assholes. Like they didn't just live with each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
And so like with Night Moves, like they just like they're all down for a cause, like an environmentalist cause, which we'll
Right.
get into later.
Yeah.
But like I'm saying, like it just shows that like there's no honor amongst thieves because it's not even necessarily that. It's just there really is no honor amongst anybody.
Yeah,
like
there's no,
like things will just get
there's no line, you know.
yeah, there's
no,
really no line. You could
just-
know somebody forever, but if you think your ass is gonna get, taken down, or
It's just like fair
You'll
game
turn on
in
them.
general.
Yeah. if you think you're not gonna get your share of something, you're gonna go after it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I've given you guys all something to drink today because I poisoned your drinks because
You
you're
didn't
not
give me
gonna.
anything to drink.
you're not
Actually,
gonna
you
win.
did.
Not
Well, I
me.
poisoned you, bro. Just kidding.
I'm just joking, but yeah, that's like what it was. Like that's and because it's just such a Shallow Grave is such like a tight, quick thriller.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really like get into kind of it gets into those themes, but there's nothing that like pounds it in your head. It's more about like the genre aspect of it, doing kind of that genre mash of all
But,
those things.
No, I mean, I think it does.
Well, Danny Boyles said there's no point to it. All right, so don't even talk shit.
Wow.
If you want to go toe to toe with Boyle,
well, Boyle.
not no point to it, but you know what I'm
Boyle,
saying.
you think less of you than I do of you.
But not that there's no point to it, but that there's no like subtext to it. It is just
Yeah.
a straight like these are shitty people.
But
They just
yeah,
do these shitty things,
well,
and
Exactly. I'm pretty surface on these points. You know, they're shitty people. Yeah, you see that. You know, you see how Ewan McGregor doesn't change or Kerry, but you see David change. You know,
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's obvious.
Oh,
It's
for
like,
sure. Right,
You know,
right.
like there's obvious points. You know, but whatever, Danny Boyle. You don't want me to talk about
No,
it? So I don't
that's
talk about
you
it.
know what I'm saying though. That's not what I'm saying. Obviously, he knows that there's like that character development
Yeah.
there for him. You know what I'm saying. Don't start acting like that. Danny Boyle's gonna kick the shit out of you. Don't do this. Don't do this to yourself, man.
That was yesterday.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't know. Shallow Grave. In terms of like this like little crime thriller. I mean, how you feeling with it? Was it an easy watch? Did you?
It was an easy watch. It was just, is dated the right word? No, just because, it's like,
I would say dated. yeah.
dated a little bit.
That's how you feel. That's how you fucking feel.
That 90s techno,
Yeah.
frantic,
And it doesn't do that again. You know.
know.
It just does that for.
At the beginning.
It's just the beginning, right?
Yeah.
But I'm familiar with that with other movies that he's done and just
Yeah.
movies of that time,
No,
right?
he does do
right?
that, yes.
So
like Slumdog Millionaire, that's like the whole thing,
Yeah.
kind of, but like not so techno-y or.
I would say I like that
Techno.
movie a lot more, but you know,
are you guys disagreeing to agree or agreeing to disagree? I don't know.
but you know, it was a cool watch. And the order I watched these movies this time around, I think I watched I watched Night Moves
So you try
first.
to go with Diego's?
No, because you know we always pair these movies up for a reason, right? So watching it and then you know I see why you picked this movie, but no, I enjoyed it. It was,
But why?
but why?
Why did you enjoy it?
Yeah, why did you enjoy it? Like,
Did
what
you really
was
enjoy it, or
enjoyable?
are you just saying you enjoyed it? It doesn't matter.
No, I like the storyline of, you know, these three flatmates who, I mean, it's stuff we've gone through, but, you know, just three flatmates who this thing happens, you know, a dead body, and greed overtakes all of them, and just seeing them develop, well, not only
I
not that
remember
it's
that
developed
time
because
I was
again,
living with three guys and
You found a dead body.
But I mean, but I'm saying like
No,
you
I'm
know
just
like
joking,
yeah
sorry.
no I'm not trying to like be like all pressured you or anything. Okay, well I guess we'll just do our final thoughts and rate this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, but
yeah.
not sure because it's just like you know you could say you just like it, but I was wondering why. Like what you know don't explain the plot back to me. Like tell me
No.
why you liked it. You know what I mean? What did you feel while you were watching it? How you know why did you enjoy it?
no, I mean, it's just oh man, I feel like you're pointing like a no.
What's your final thoughts? So
No. My final thoughts on this. It's a cool movie. It's I wouldn't.
Did you like the acting?
The acting was
The acting was acting.
no. I didn't. I mean, I thought the characters were cool. You know, just no. When I say cool, no, I mean they portrayed being an asshole very well. I guess you can say.
Yeah,
you
they
know?
nailed it.
You know, they nailed that down. And then seeing, you know, it just kind of go dark with Mr. Doctor Who's character, you know, murdering people and being very murderous and stuff. But I don't know. I wasn't a fan so much of the what do you call that, score music?
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it was like I think it was more like a soundtrack. I don't know if there was a score. It was mostly like a soundtrack.
so what's
right?
what's the difference between like a score? I guess
Well,
I
so
was,
a
I was
score
kinda,
a score is when you
Music
know
is specifically
music
made for
is
the
specifically
movie.
made for the movie. A soundtrack is where they get
So-
already.
So would you say like
Artists
the
play songs.
thriller, you know, suspenseful parts like you know, that music that would come up.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
that
was
would be
that
a
a score?
score.
It was a
Yeah.
score, right?
It might have
So-
just been
They might have had they might have just gotten. They might not have been able to afford a score. I don't know. We probably have to look.
already like you know like
Yeah,
they
like-
just pay for like this low cost kind of like score
Yeah.
that it's already made
Right.
and people can use or
Gotcha.
whatever.
So
Yeah.
my point was,
Yeah.
I think that's maybe the only. Well, one of the issues I had with it, it was kind of corny. To me, it was a little corny.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
the type of the music that
Yeah,
would
and
go on with
that
certain
can
parts.
definitely
know?
matter when you're watching the film, especially sometimes the music messes it up. I know a lot of
Yeah,
people
yeah, for
complained
sure.
about the score from Nightcrawler, and they said that
Mhm.
that score really messed that movie up for them. Cause
Yeah.
it just
Like
was
it's
really-
almost too generic. you know?
yeah, it's too generic. It's too happy in a
Yeah.
lot of places.
It sounded like, I don't know. It wasn't. I mean, again, you guys say this is his first. Well,
I'm
Yeah,
pretty
first
sure
feature-
because he
first
did
feature
like
film. His
he
first-
did like TV and
TV
stuff
movies.
before.
He directed
Yeah.
TV movies. That's right. So he did
So his
that.
first feature film. Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that's probably the only thing that probably bugged me, where it just made it sound, if anything, maybe more low budget than what it was. You know what I'm saying? Like
sure.
it kind of
Yeah,
it kind
I
of
get
made it
that.
sound cheesy at times. Like I was watching like a Goosebumps episode or something like that. Like it's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah, exactly.
you know,
That's why I said
Tales
it sounded
from the
like
Crypt,
Tales
yeah.
from the Crypt.
yeah.
you know?
So
It's
that was
kinda-
probably probably the only issue with it, like the techno and stuff. I mean, I'm a fan of those movies from the '90s where it's that camera angle where things are sped up and stuff like that, and those
that
cuts and
MTV.
you know.
cutting.
So
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of that. So I mean, watching this, I'm familiar with other movies that he's had. So I didn't know that this was, I guess, you know, we were talking Danny Boyle, you know, or whatever his name is, whatever.
Danny Boyle.
yeah.
Danny Boyle.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
no, I mean the movie was cool. I mean, if I rating it, I'd probably rate.
Well, you are rating it, so
Yeah.
don't probably rate it.
No.
Please rate it.
I'm gonna rate it. So 3.5. No, 3 foots in Ewan McGregor's mouth.
Okay.
Alright.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, that was That was kind of sexy.
That was a nice scene.
You're turning Mondo on.
Well, there you go. That was a great final thought on it. That was a great rating right there. That's what I want to hear. I mean, look, I'm telling you, because again, I'm gonna remind everyone these are my movies that I brought, and every time it's my episode, I'm gonna fucking make you guys fucking explain your shit to me.
Got me sweating here.
I don't know why you guys don't do it to me, because I'm gonna yell at you about it anyway. All right.
Well, you liked all my movies, so I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, sure, but still, yeah. All right.
I'm 2 for 2.
Diego, let's get your final thoughts on Shallow Grave.
All right, so the thing that kind of popped out to me, I enjoyed the movie, first off. It does feel dated to me. It does feel very much like a 90s film. But I kind of gravitated towards the dialogue. They were very quick wit comebacks. I'm not sure if it was improvised at all or if it was all written that way, but there was a lot of stuff that
I imagine it was probably just written that way.
There's a lot of stuff where like the answer to maybe like a diss or whatever was very quick, but sarcastic, almost very dry. There was no it wasn't like a joke in the way that they would come back at it.
Usually
and I
pretty
like
cruel.
that. Yeah, and it was good though. I liked it. It flowed very well for each of the characters. You could tell that they were intelligent. It wasn't just like dumbasses just kind of like going at each other. I mean, it shows in the first scene, even though it's not a very great scene. I mean, the way that they're interviewing these potential flatmates, that they're very intelligent and they're pointing out certain things that that most people wouldn't care to point out. And also their jobs seem to be very they would require intellect. It's not just like some guy working some basic job, like a fast food joint or something like that.
Right. Because especially because that was
character's a reporter.
Yeah, he's
one's
a reporter.
One's a
Carrie's
nurse.
a
doctor. Yes.
Yeah. And the other is an accountant, like a really big, huge accountant. And
right.
then they, and that's the thing is that flat that they're in is like sought after. It's like
it's
like a really nice place
in a nice place, nice neighborhood. So they make
the
good
top
earning.
Floor, they have a view, all that.
They make a good earning, but that's one thing that I kind of just kind of pointed out, I guess, the fact that they're very quick with the way they answer certain lines, and I think that made the acting a lot more stand out a lot more. It wasn't just kind of like acting for the sake of acting. Like they became these characters and they did a good job at being these characters. So I would say in that sense, that was really good for a 90s film too. I really liked it. I'm surprised I haven't seen it before, and I would actually like my mom to watch something like this because she's really into especially 90s thrillers. So I would suggest this.
Your mom like techno?
No, not techno. Well, she might. I don't know.
You got really offended by that.
No, she might. I don't know. I'll ask her.
All right.
But yeah,
we'll get back to you.
Yeah,
There's a Criterion Cult pod first.
I'll bring it up in the next one.
Check our Instagram. It's gonna be a story.
Yeah. All right, we'll post it on Twitter. But no, I'm gonna rate it now. So I'm gonna rate it. I'll give it a 3.5. I really liked it. I would actually like to own this, and I would actually like to watch it a few more times just so I could look for stuff that I didn't really catch the first time around.
Get the Criterion Cult. The Criterion Collection version.
No, you could get the Criterion Cult.
Pretty soon. I mean, pretty soon they're gonna be quoting Nacho.
Yeah.
On all the movies, all of them. Pretty soon.
I'm trying to remember a quote, but I don't know.
One of them was like "fuck Nirvana" or something. Hey,
fuck Nirvana.
You have
for sure.
quite a few.
Piece of shit parent. Piece of
oh
shit dad.
God, yeah, I gotta start. Okay. Go.
All right, Mondo, your final thoughts on Danny Boyle Heights.
Whoa, you're trying to steal my thunder? No, okay, so I'm not a Danny Boyle fan. I mean, I like Train Spotting. And I don't know. And 28 Days Later. That doesn't matter.
Okay.
Both Train Spottings, right?
Yeah, both Train Spotting. Actually, the second
T1,
one.
T2?
Yeah, T1, T2.
T2 is good?
T2 is fucking dope.
Train Spotting, I think it's his best film.
I thought I had mixed reviews. That's why I never gave
it makes
a
me
shot.
like T1 more.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
It's
right?
really good.
I really like Train
T2's
Spotting.
okay.
So.
It's an unbelievably like where you're just like, why would they make a sequel? But you see why in the
Makes
film where you're
sense.
just like, damn, like the characters that come back, it like ties
And
everything up in a
McGregor's
perfect
still
way.
fucking dope.
Yeah,
Cool,
it's good.
cool.
I would say
28 days
I'm
later.
trying to try to.
Oh man.
yeah. So I mean,
28
hopefully, these two guys on our movie
You're not a
podcast
fan
will
of
watch more
Slumdog?
movies. You guys can see.
I never wanted
Shut
to
up.
watch Slumdog.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe one day I'll watch it, but I don't want to watch it. But yeah, so
Final
yeah,
thoughts.
So yeah, going in this, I was kind of like I was weary, but I did want to see it because I remember when you first bought it, Jordan. I was like, oh, that's a cool cover, and that kind of intrigued me. And so the beginning of this film, obviously, it was not. I was like, oh no, just the whole '90s thing and the stupid questions that they had.
Yeah.
I was just kind of But as the movie went on, I was like, oh crap, it's like, I mean, I kind of liked the Tales from the Crypt aspect. Even like the story, I thought it was kind of Tales from the Crypt. Like these friends get something, they dig themselves a shallow grave, obviously. Like. And that's like a total Tales from the Crypt EC Comics
Boyle.
thing, like, like that was cool. Like, and the script is tight, it's pretty tight. Like, sure they don't explain.
It is very tight.
It's sure they don't explain a few things, but I mean, you just get it from
you don't
film
need
language.
that.
If you've seen a movie, you kind of get it. Okay?
Yes, exactly. They're basic tropes, so you don't need to know those tropes, those crime kind of.
Yeah,
trope
they're
things.
looking for the money. You know the cops are going to be on your tail.
And Boyle also knew that in an interview. If you read,
now he knows something.
If you read the Criterion Collection essay about Shallow Grave that's in the booklet, he'll tell you that he knew that. He was just kind of like, I knew that. All they had to do was rely on those tropes, and I could still kind of just cut, make it tight. That's what I'm saying. He cut out the fat.
It was a tight script. I think I liked the script or the writing of this film a lot more. And it was a little tonally, like a little bit all over the place, wacky, funny, like and dramatic or whatever, And but ultimately, I mean, I didn't hate it. I mean, I think it would be a good movie to watch with a group of people. Like, it's just kind of one of those films, and I'm surprised I haven't heard more about it from all you fucking horror freaks out there. Yeah, I'm calling you out. You need to see Shallow Grave.
Yeah, Diego.
Especially the end.
Yeah, I'm surprised I hadn't seen it.
The demon is fuming.
Yeah, I'm surprised I hadn't seen it.
Bloodhound. No, but and then like the knivings are like cool, like the like stupid cheap special effects, like the 80s style kind of thing,
Yes, yeah.
Those are dope, but I mean, so I don't know. I get it. I give it a 3 pairs of socks from Ewan McGregor, because those socks in the beginning are thick.
Throughout the whole film, his socks are very thick, like where they puff out.
His
white
socks are huge.
Yeah, they're. I mean, obviously, for people who haven't seen it and don't know what we're talking about, I don't know if this was a thing in Scotland, maybe back in the early '90s, where they just wore fat socks, where the pants couldn't go over.
Maybe they were his football socks.
McGregor thing.
So
warmers.
Those 3 stars are pretty big, thick 3 stars. So I'm giving that. These are all good. These are all good scores.
Yeah,
this is kind of what it's pretty much. Yeah. So same here. Look.
3 fat socks?
I'm not. No. But I'm saying I'm not a Boyle fan either. I'm not really that big of a Boyle fan. I've seen, I've seen Trainspotting. I used to like it when I was younger. It's what we would call, me and Monica, a MySpace movie, where you would put it on your put it on your MySpace to make people think you were cool.
Right.
It's one of those.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Ewan McGregor looking at the front of the car, the hood.
Or them, like all 4 of them, like in a row, like standing.
How they're standing in the field to commemorate their friend.
Yeah, but I digress. Sorry, but that's why I like Trainspotting 2 a lot more. It feels more grown up. It feels like something that can actually last a long time.
We're men of a certain age now.
Yes, exactly. But, I've seen A Life Less Ordinary, which is so forgettable. I've seen The Beach, which is very forgettable. Trance is so forgettable. In my opinion, Slumdog Millionaire is very forgettable. I mean, I just don't, really care too much for Danny Boyle, so that's why I was very surprised that I really enjoyed this as much as I do. Mm-hmm. In a film that, like I said, I'm really glad that I own it, because it is something that I would like to return to, because to me it just feels like a good chunk of that history in the 90s of film from Scotland, because again, in the Criterion Collection essay that's in the booklet, it talks about how at that time what was coming out of around that area was mostly period pieces, stuffy period pieces, or things that were more serious dramas, where it was just a serious family drama, melodrama, and nobody was really doing straightforward.
I give it that
thrillers.
for sure. It's more American 90s indie film,
Yes, and he even I'm pretty sure he brought up Blood Simple as a reason why, when he met the writer to direct it, he said I'm thinking Blood Simple. And the
And
writer
then-
was like, oh, I know exactly what you mean.
And then this
Like-
writer has worked with him a few times.
Yeah, he did. Though,
Trainspotting.
he did Trainspotting and Life Less Ordinary, The Beach, and Trance, and then Trainspotting 2 with him. But yeah, so
I like
that's
that
why
title,
it's
Trainspotting too.
it's T2. T2.
Yeah.
That's the real T2.
Yeah.
Yeah, not James Cameron's T2. This is but yeah, no, so that it's like a good it's the start of a beautiful relationship with him and this writer.
Yeah.
Making this thing, and him and Danny Boyle kind of seeing the script and be like, damn, this is tight, this is really smooth and really dark. I want to just like do this with no kind of like agenda to it, to be like, oh, this has something to say, or this has a bigger meaning. To him, he just kind of knew. He's like, this is just about shitty people who do shitty things. We're gonna get the shit given to them at the end. And I really like that for first films, especially when you're on a budget. So I give this 3.5. What was it? It was 3.5 sledgehammers to Ewan McGregor's kneecaps. Well, anyway, Ewan McGregor gets his kneecaps popped.
Crowbar.
Yeah, I think it was
Crowbar.
a crowbar. Yeah.
And then for some reason the next day he's able to walk around. That's a
Yeah,
whole
that
nother-
was weird.
That's a whole nother low budget thing. But anyway, so that's 3.5 for Shallow Grave.
Cool.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Nice.
yeah, Danny Boyles first. If you guys want, please check that out. It's not available to stream anywhere right now, but you can rent it
But
on a
it's
lot
Blu-ray,
of stuff.
DVD.
Yeah, you can get it on Blu-ray at Criterion.
It's a good watch. So you
Criterion.com.
should.
I say watch it.
invest
I
in
recommend it to everybody.
Yeah.
Honestly, I do. It's a nice little tight little thriller you can throw on and be like, oh,
Yeah, it's
like
a
it's not.
It would be a fun, like I said, I keep saying it. It'd be a fun watch for the group. You know?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
just,
for sure.
like,
And it doesn't drag. It carries
Yeah.
well.
it's tight,
Yeah.
93 minutes.
But all right, so this next movie that I brought to that I think should be in the Criterion Collection, which is Night Moves from 2013. This is by Kelly Reichardt. She's a director. She's done River of Grass, Old Joy, and Certain Women, which are also on the Criterion Collection. So she's due for some more for shit on there.
Okay.
But this stars Jesse Eisenberg, Dakota Fanning, and Peter Sarsgaard. Now I know a lot of people listening to this who really don't probably watch a lot of indie films. I mean, maybe you do, maybe you don't. I'm just saying if you don't, you might hear those names and think, what movie could this be? Like, is this some like big movie? It's got Eisenberg, it's got Fanning, but it really is just like this indie film. It's like a quiet, slow burn of an indie film about these they're environmentalists who basically want to blow up a dam. It's an electro dam. So it like takes like it's like using like it's not just like it's like a hydroelectric dam.
Yeah.
So they want to blow that up, and it goes through the motions of them setting that up, doing that, and then the aftermath of them doing that. And so it's Jesse Eisenberg, Dakota Fanning, and the great Peter Sarsgaard. Because Peter Sarsgaard is just a great actor. He's an underappreciated actor, in my opinion. I think he does fantastic every time he shows up, and even in fucking Garden State, and I fucking hate Garden State. Zach Braff, you can go fuck yourself. And he's great in Garden State, but great. Here I think he plays like that really that kind of, unfortunately what people think of when they think of kind of environmentalists who are kind of living off the grid.
That was everyone in this movie. I felt like it was
well,
just
sure,
like,
but I think
like everyone felt like the worst environmentalist.
Yes, but Peter Sarsgaard more so. He's the guy who just sort of like he's like an ex-felon, but he doesn't tell you.
Yeah.
And he's really shady. He like lies. He like doesn't really know what he's doing, but he's down to just do whatever because he's like a criminal.
I kind of questioned if he was an environmentalist.
Yeah, me too.
Because he has those arguments with Dakota Fanning in that movie about like fish and this and that, right? Fishing, right? And he seems like it made me think is he really an environmentalist as well, or he's just for the cause, like
that's the
for
whole
fucking
thing.
shit up.
Is it all three of them were sort of like
exactly
that?
that's
because
the whole
Dakota
thing.
Fanning just knew that stuff by reading books. She was a rich girl who read a bunch of books. She never really experienced it and really dealt with like things. Like she just read books about it, so she knew stuff. But she like wasn't really saving anything. She just gave money to stuff. And I think it was like showing those kind of. And Jesse Eisenberg was sort of like the one who was sort of down.
He wanted to be noticed for being an
Right,
environmentalist because
he was
more
like, trying to be a
the
star.
aftermath, like he's trying to like he's putting his ear out, and whatever. But so at the beginning, you find out Jesse Eisenberg, when they're driving to Peter Sarsgaard's place to go do this whole like blow up the dam and all that stuff. They have the boat or whatever. He stops over the road to see this mother deer dying, Well, he doesn't find out till his
The
mother,
doe.
like, the doe.
Oh
Yeah.
yes,
The deer
yes.
or whatever.
Where he puts his hand on it and he realizes there's.
And-
She's
yeah,
pregnant.
she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he says it's still alive in there, and I feel like if he was like a real environmentalist, or he would have some knowledge of like how to give birth to this baby doe, you know?
Or try to save it in one
Yeah,
case or not, and
exactly.
he
Or
just
just, like,
pushes
try
it
to cut
over.
it out.
Yes.
And
She doesn't.
And
yeah.
that's exactly what they
Yeah.
do. Like all these people, they're not like real environmentalists.
No.
They're like, they're part of this cause,
They're
but they really
posers.
don't have like, they have some information, but not the right full information of everything.
Yeah.
You know, he just that. And like I noticed that like sets the whole tone. Like he just pushes it aside.
Yeah.
You know, and like in the beginning they talk about like saving the earth and doing these small deeds, and that was a small deed he could have done. You know, to keep
You're right.
the going.
Yeah.
And he does it. He's trying to look at the bigger picture still. You know, and that fucks him over.
But even then, that bigger picture is just like you said. It's more to be noticed. It's not even really to do. And that's what I love about this film and Kelly Reichardt's direction is that it doesn't ever explain those things to you. You see those things in those actions. It's a very like slow, kind of quiet thing, and it shows you those characters through
it lets
those
you
interactions.
see those things too because how slow it is.
That's what I'm saying.
You know,
she
like,
doesn't
it
do
doesn't,
fancy camera work.
Yeah.
There's no moving of the
Like
camera.
you're
really.
noticing, like when people talk, when people do things, like she's obviously showing you, she's using her camera, showing you, letting it breathe for a reason. She's not just shooting cool shots.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, exactly.
Well, that's one thing too that comes up later on when he goes back to wherever he's living and he's talking to the guy who owns the farm.
Yeah,
he said like he says you know,
go
people
up
want to
10.
do something because they want quick results, you know, and he's all like, we're not gonna get quick results. I just want to see results, you know.
Yeah, we need the bigger picture.
Yeah,
the
it's
literal
not just,
bigger picture.
It's not just about small things, and that's one thing that I think like any sort of activist kind of clings on to, that they're gonna change the world with one big thing, but it's like that's not how it works.
Yeah.
You know, you have to take the small victories in order to kind of see the big picture at the end.
Yeah.
If everyone worked together, and that's one thing that these guys don't do. They kind of want something big in order to see a big thing happen, which it doesn't work out to their benefit.
Well, and Jesse Eisenberg just wants to be a celebrity about it.
Yeah.
Peter Sarsgaard
Infamy.
is just a fucking criminal who's just down to blow shit up.
Yeah.
And Dakota Fanning is just like a rich girl who's sort of in a way sort of
Who
a
thinks
tourist.
she can say,
Exactly. She's sort of like a tourist in that life, where she's just sort of like, well, I just like read all these books and I know all these things and I just hung around all these rich people and I was annoyed by them.
Yeah.
So
and
I'm
then
gonna come.
she's the one that's fucking like gonna
She
like
loses
take him
it.
down. Yeah, she's like
because she couldn't handle what it was.
Yeah.
What real damage something like blowing up a dam in a
he
national
says-
park can do,
Yeah.
especially that people can go into that national
Yeah,
park.
and he
Yeah.
says like,
Well,
what
exactly,
did you think
someone
was gonna
dies.
happen?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's like that's what I love about this film is that you get that, like you said, you see that right off the bat. It doesn't need any kind of like big dramatic scene to explore those three characters and those characteristics.
Yeah.
You sort of slowly get like an onion, it gets peeled back as you sort of slowly go through these scenes and you see what it is that they're actually doing and what kind of people they actually are, in the same way in Shallow Grave.
Well, I liked how dark it just kept getting. Like I felt like the movie.
Yeah,
It just kept getting dark.
In terms of like lighting,
did,
you're
yeah.
saying like or in
No,
tone.
not even that. I mean tone.
Oh, okay.
Specifically tone. Like I mean, just because you.
I mean, it's pretty dark. The lighting's pretty dark.
No,
Yeah, it is.
Well,
It's always
I mean,
like very
a lot of the stuff that
it's not like you can't see, but
But
that's
yeah,
why. That's
but a lot of the
it
stuff
works
that
for
occurs is at night. Is at night as
Yes.
well. Which
Night
works.
moves.
Night moves exactly. Which,
that's the name of the boat that they used to blow up the dam.
But I just
that's what it's called.
the tone as well.
Spoiler alert.
Just from the get go, like I was like, okay, what's going on? They're environmentalists. I see that, and then she gives her speech, and then she, when they're all together in that room, and she gives her speech, and she's talking about like small little things are more impactful versus one, something
Giant,
big.
yeah.
When Dakota Fanning questions her, like, well, what do you think we should do, right? Right there and then, I'm like, oh, I feel like this is going this route. But no, I enjoyed like that build up, seeing that voyage of them, picking up that boat to, just picking up characters. And in it again, like I see why you picked this with Shallow Grave. It's this relationship between the three, and they're just kind of their own thing, and then they just kind of
paranoia.
And they end up
Yeah.
turning on each
Yeah.
other, and there's kind of I enjoyed that, just how dark it ended up going. But I think even like from the beginning to the end, like Jesse Eisenberg's character was still kind of very mysterious. You don't get a lot on him.
Well, again, he was still a piece of shit.
Yeah. Well, besides being a piece of shit, like he.
Yeah, in person,
you know,
right? You met Jesse Eisenberg. Nacho said he met him. He's a piece of shit in real person. That's what Nacho's saying,
But
right?
yeah, there's that scene where
Quote
he's
him.
going back to the Peter Sarsgaard's RV, and you can hear Dakota Fanning and him kind of
Fooling around?
Yeah, fooling
Getting
around.
on. Yeah.
And you could see it in his face. You know, he doesn't do it like he has like breakfast for them or whatever, and you could see it in his face that he thinks he deserves Dakota Fanning.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
he's just like a piece of shit, like a male guy, like you. He deserves this because he's
Yeah,
doing.
he always
he's
tells her
setting
like
this
shut
up,
up and
you know,
stuff. Like,
and he's just
Yeah,
like,
if she should be with anyone, should be me.
Yeah, why is she with him? She should be like, you know.
I thought he was
But
just
this is
upset
like-
at having more pizza for himself. I think it was boxes
But-
of pizza that he brought in.
well, it's
But,
because he
like-
paid for that pizza, and they were.
He's
gonna
like,
eat
now
it.
they're not gonna fucking eat it. Like, I'm
Yeah.
pissed. I'd be pissed too, man.
Yeah, because like Jesse Eisenberg shows up with some pizza
Yeah.
for Peter Sarsgaard and Ela Fanning. They're in a little trailer out in Portland because this was filmed mostly in Portland, which is fucking. It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
The outdoors, like Kelly Reichardt is so great at like getting that vibe because I just recently did a trip through like Washington and Portland, and like she really like gets that kind of vibe of just driving through those like woods.
The
You know what I mean?
backwoods.
Yeah.
Like where you just sort of feel that kind of like
Small
where you're just all
town vibe.
quiet and you just kind of feel that like, you know, the nature kind of coming around you, you know?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I went off. But yeah, so Jesse Eisenberg shows up with some pizza because he's like, you know, we're environmentalists. We love shitty, horrible pizza. And
didn't
Eli
bring fruits
Fanning and Peter Sarsgaard, you know, they're kind of fooling around. And Jesse Eisenberg, he puts it down like in front of the trailer and walks away from it like all pissed.
Yeah.
And you know, I get that. You know what I'm saying? Like he's probably jealous, but I wouldn't be jealous. It's because I'm just like, well, you know, I have 2 large pizzas here. Like you guys are just gonna like fool
Veggie
around.
pizzas.
I mean, probably little Cesars,
I do
a couple
want
of hot and readies.
I do want to bring up that there was a little bit of some bad news for the movie. That when they were filming this, apparently there was a lawsuit against it.
Oh, the copyright?
Yeah, because it's loosely based on a book that was also supposed to become a film. So I don't know if anyone's read the book, but apparently it's called The Monkey Wrench Gang. Monkey Wrench Gang. And if anyone has seen that film, or read that book, maybe they can see how closely this.
Nobody's ever read that book.
It was about environmentalists as well.
Yeah,
like,
I read somewhat of it, but I don't know how closely it is connected to this.
You're
film.
talking to no one.
Hey man, I just gotta throw out the facts.
All right, well, you threw a monkey in this wrench, or a wrench in this.
No, you said it right the first time.
Whatever.
That's cool. Keep it as is.
Whatever it was.
Yeah, the monkey was thrown, baby.
Okay. Yes. So what? But so you haven't read that book.
No, but if anyone has,
No, yeah, okay, so they were gonna get sued because it's like similar.
So they were gonna make a film based on that novel, and
Crazy.
they were already filming this.
Do you know any more information? Did the directors?
The lawsuit was dropped on.
Yeah, because the directors probably denied knowing about the book. Maybe
I'm sure
Maybe,
at some
the
point, but
writers.
there was some statement that was put out. I just didn't get the
It
statement.
was the studio that actually sued, if I remembered right.
Was it the studio that was gonna film the novel? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that sounds like a bunch of weak lawyer shit, Diego. And you know what? You're not a lawyer, so
I'm not.
you're not gonna accuse me of nothing. I didn't steal any idea, all right? Not this podcast, not anything, pal. All right, Night Moves. Just came out in 2013. One of my favorite films of that year because, again, Kelly Reichardt, she doesn't make films like this. If you watch her other stuff, if you watch Old Joy, if you watch Wendy and Lucy, if you watch Meek's Cutoff and Certain Women, which are the only ones that I've seen, you see kind of it's more like a loose kind of character study. Like there's no really plot. You're sort of just kind of following. Have you seen any?
I haven't, but I've heard. What I read on her was that her style is minimalistic. So would you say that those other movies are like that as well?
Yes, they're like that. That's exactly what they are. There's really nothing that goes on. You're more just kind of following a character, just kind of or characters, just kind of doing daily life stuff. There's no real big drama. I mean, but that's the thing. What's so great about her and what works in this film is that when you watch something like, for instance, like Old Joy, which is about these two friends who haven't seen each other in a long time, they come back together and they decided to be like, hey, let's go camping in Portland because one of them's gonna have a kid and the other one's just like a loser still, you know. So they go out and nothing really happens, you know. There's no big like argument between them two. There's no big like scene where it's just like, man, I haven't seen you in forever. You're not my friend anymore. There's no like generic kind of scene that you think it's gonna happen. But the quiet moments that happen in that movie kind of make more sense in those big moments because you're just like, oh, she does the same thing here where it's just like little conversations and little things kind of let you know the character feels a certain way without him or her having to say that, without them having to be like, oh, well, I'm mad at you. You just sort of know by a look or anything, you know. So here she's like kind of able to make quiet moments be big moments, like actual like real dramatic like you know, serious moments that in another kind of someone else's hands.
Yeah,
in
those
another
quiet
drama,
moments added to a big moment.
Yeah,
sure.
they would just be more kind of like too dramatic, too stupid, too silly, too overdramatic.
Or like, where did this come from? It's all of a sudden,
right?
You know,
right. Like
but
these
it's
characters
all setting it up.
Yes, and here it's like a build up to that, and it feels. I mean, it just feels like a totally different thing from what she usually does. So I think you guys should all check out her films, all her films. Again, she's got
she
A River of Grass, Old
that
Joy,
movie just came out too.
Certain Women.
Her first cow, right?
Yeah, I think
and
that's
First Cow.
Did that come out already?
That is on A24. You could rent that. I think
There
for
you
like
go.
$3.99. You could also buy it, but it's on VOD. But I think if you start from Night Moves, you might get a little a different impression of what she does because she doesn't. All her movies are not like this.
Okay.
And I think that's why it belongs in the Criterion Collection because it's sort of like this, you know, this director. It's sort of like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like somebody who does a certain thing and then if they did like something else, you know. But a lot of directors really do that a lot. And so that's why it's like you can see that talent in a director when they're able to do that. When they're able to jump from genre to genre and they don't really have, you know, they don't have to worry about dabbling just in the same stuff. Even though her storytelling is, I think, best in...
Well, Danny Boyles is kind of an example of that. He doesn't.
Yeah,
he does
that's true.
certain things, but
Yeah,
not
he
all
dabs
the time.
all,
You know?
yeah, he's a
kinda all
dabber.
over the place,
He did that movie Yesterday,
Yeah.
which, you know, I thought literally nobody directed it. I thought they just like push record and let something happen. But anyway,
they just press record.
yeah, but that's why like this movie to me I think belongs in the collection because it's an important milestone in her career and we're celebrating her in the collection already. And this is like literally a film that stands out in all her, you know, in her filmography. And it just has again the same themes of Shallow Grave. And I just think it does it in a better
very
way.
Similar. Like this was a great pairing. Like,
but would you say it does it in a better way?
I mean, it just does it in a different way. You know.
Well, I
like
think
they present.
yeah, okay.
They present both like kind of themes you can get. Like they're three friends, three acquaintances. They're kind of like they're friends, sort of. You know, obviously in both circumstances of both films, but like this like one thing just makes like their friendship implode. You know,
Yeah.
and how quick people change and like try to adapt.
Well, it's a
try
little
to
different
survive,
here because
you know,
they're not like real friends because Dakota Fanning meets Peter Sarsgaard through Jesse Eisenberg just through this little action. So it's not kind of the same thing where they're not flatmates.
Yeah, exactly. They don't know what they're getting into when they go to Sarsgaard because he doesn't even have like the fertilizer or anything, right?
Yeah, again, he comes off as one of those people that you think would be when like people think of environmentalists, they're just like he's lazy, he's just know he's sneaky, he doesn't really want to do anything but blow some shit up, you know.
Real quick, I kind of got a feel that Eisenberg and Fanning were in a relationship or maybe he was imagining that they were type of a relationship because they knew each other.
They were in that same kind of group, you know, so they were friends or acquaintances, you know, through their...
Like, they all knew each other through probably, like, you know, their environmentalist group. Like, that, you know what I mean?
That's why
they just
got together, you know? Like,
and like, they probably just set up missions with, like, because I remember they just called each other by their first letter of their name, right? Yeah. She called, like, Peter Sarsgaard called Eli Fanning D, and he called her M, and she called him M. Yeah, so it's like, you know, there was, like, that thing where they knew each other through people. And again...
And they had done like another kind of like
they done stuff
environmental terrorist act, which that is
that's a terrorist act.
Before and like Jesse Eisenberg kind of sees Sarsgaard's character as like this this mentor, you know, and then you know when you see your like hero up close, you start seeing through the cracks, you know, and then there's this whole thing where like Jesse Eisenberg pretty much is gonna be that guy for the rest of his life. He's gonna turn into Peter Sarsgaard.
He's gonna have to be.
Yeah,
like, on the run.
Yeah, you have to, because he gives him advice. He's like, disappear, like for a long time, you know. And he's ready to go into that, you know. He's still following, even though he saw like through his personality and like what kind of person he really is. Like he just ends up becoming. He's gonna end up becoming that guy.
Yeah.
You know? Living off the grid and all that shit and doing these stupid like.
Yeah, this is a great depiction of like trying to do something for a cause but still being a shitty person. You know, like deep down inside, you can't change that. You're just a shitty person. And not doing something you think is grandiose.
Behind the cause for the right reasons,
right?
Like, you know,
but even doing something grandiose isn't gonna fix who you are.
Yeah, well, yeah, they don't understand that, and they're not in the.
But not only that, I think they're not
realizing
that what they did
the right
literally
reasons, you know,
did nothing.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, really.
Like I was wondering your guys' interpretation of the ending. Like I was,
that's exactly. It's just that because he's in a store. So Jesse Eisenberg's in a store. He's trying to buy some stuff, and he's still sort of he's already like kind of gotten rid of the people he thinks that are gonna rat him out. But he just looks up at like a store kind of security kind of camera
like
thing.
It's that weird mirror where
you gotta explain it. It's just a security camera. But he looks up at it, and that's when you know you're just like, oh, he's gonna look over his shoulder the rest of his life. He's
always gonna have to look over his back. And and these people are just always gonna be like on their phones. Like technology it's gonna take it all over.
That's what I was gonna get at.
Like,
I was
both
reading
on their phones.
I was reading interpretations about like the ending and stuff, and I think the one that caught me the most was the whole phone situation, because he has a quote earlier in the movie like when they want to bomb the dam about what about it like about killing salmon or something like that. How I forgot how it was phrased.
Well, he says you guys just want to like kill a bunch of like hundreds or thousands of salmon just to
be on your iPod,
your
iPhone or iPod,
that's right?
right? Yeah. And then just for him, like towards the end of that movie, you know, he's breaking his phone, taking it apart,
dropping it in different cars,
and he goes and applies at this big. I want to say it's a Big 5. It looks like a Big 5.
It says Big 5, I think, on the.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's just like a sporting store out in Portland.
But then and then for him to look in the mirror and he's noticing like what he did literally impacted nothing. Like, you know, there's still these people on their phones like relying on all this stuff. Like it did nothing. Like
he just killed somebody.
Yeah.
Or killed multiple people for no reason. For absolutely no reason. And that's what like the thing, you know, that's what I'm saying. That's what I interpreted in the end too, that he felt that. I killed no one for no reason, and I'm going to have to be scared of them finding out that I did that for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I'm a piece of shit. I'm Jesse Eisenberg. Jesse Eisenberg killed Dakota Fanning, if anyone doesn't know that. No, but so
which Fanning is it? I think we've said two Fannings.
Dakota.
We've said Dakota. We've said Dakota.
We've been decoding.
We said Dakota.
This whole film.
No, we've said Dakota this whole time.
When we listen to this, whatever. It's Dakota. It's Dakota Fanning.
Okay, cool. Just making sure.
We've been saying Dakota Fanning. You just like to stir shit up for no reason. I don't understand why. This isn't a drama podcast. We're talking about dramas, thrillers
to be exact.
And so Night Moves. I mean, I'm not like some super like environmentalist person, but I know that blowing up some dam isn't really going to help anything. Right. I'm aware that just fucking going with some sketchy ass Peter Sarsgaard dude and filling a boat full of manure or fertilizer and blowing it up so that the dam just floods a whole forest to make a point isn't going to make the point that I would want to make.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's not going to do anything. Like that's not going to save anybody. It's not going to save humans. It's not going to save animals. It's not going to save the environment. It's literally going to cause a mess, you know? And so I think that was so great about this film also is that they don't show them do anything noble. They don't do anything noble. You know, you never see them. I mean, you see Jesse Eisenberg maybe on that farmhouse or that farmland that he lives where they're just kind of making their own food and kind of growing their own stuff.
The bird's nest.
He has a chip on his shoulder, you know, and it gets taken down pretty quickly.
Yeah.
When he comes back to that farm that he's working on for that family.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit in this movie. He's it's like from the very beginning. As again in the other movie, like most of these, you know, and I don't think Dakota Fanning really is a piece of shit, but
she just comes too naive.
She just comes off as sort of like as you were saying, a tourist in that world where she doesn't really know what really the consequences
she read some books,
are.
but she's not really thinking of what she's like.
Yeah.
if anyone should know, and then too in the beginning when they're going to get the boat, like she's the one that's calm, like and she's like, oh, just like calm down.
Well, that's the thing,
just
because
breathe.
she could talk to people. Whereas like Jesse Eisenberg and I'm sure like Peter Sarsgaard, remember they're all at that
Yeah,
camping
he looks
spot.
like the Unabomber.
They're-
The guy.
They're all at that
Timothy
camping.
McVeigh.
They're all at that camping spot, and like some guy comes up to like talk to them, and she's the only one who acknowledges him. Whereas like Jesse Eisenberg and Peter Sarsgaard like are just like all mad that he's there, and it's just like they're just like fucking weirdos. They're not like environmentalists. They don't care about like anything. Like
they're mentally ill, probably.
Could
They
be.
probably have something like.
Well, I don't know if I would say we would go that deep. I don't know if that's. I don't think so, Mondo. But
All right, I was reaching. I'm sorry.
yeah, you're really reaching. But so I think this belongs in the Criterion Collection because it doesn't have any kind of good. It doesn't have any good release. There's no special features out there. I mean, they do have Blu-rays and DVDs of it, but there's no real kind of like it doesn't.
They're gonna have Diego on the supplements telling us about the book and the lawsuit.
That's about it.
That's only a supplement that's on the Blu-ray.
Well,
right
shit.
now.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. We can get this on Criterion. We can get it in a nice Blu-ray. We can get a lot of supplements, a lot of essays. I'll write the essay about it, or just be like, "Damn, this fool and does this and that, and that's fucking crazy."
And Jesse Eisenberg's a piece of shit. In
Yep.
this movie.
And then we can get all the quotes from all of us. But I think it should be on Criterion because it should be preserved in the way that we always talk about how we want to recommend things because it's fast paced or it's easy for you to watch. But you know what? If you're listening to this by this episode, you need to grow the fuck up and you start watching some shit that's gonna make you uncomfortable. And this is a slow burn, but I think and make you think. But this is a slow burn. You're gonna have to you're gonna have to watch it. Like you can't just stare at your phone. You can't walk away from it.
Yeah.
You gotta watch it because every scene moves along the story in a way that if you miss it, you might not know why this person's strangling this person or why this person's doing this or something. You know. And I think that goes, the same for Shallow Grave, even though it is pretty fast, and easier to
short
watch.
and sweet.
Yeah.
So I think this should be again, I'm saying I think it should be on Criterion because it belongs to the masses, at least film people, because a lot of people talked about it. A lot of people did enjoy it, but I don't think enough people talked about it. And Kelly Reichardt is an American treasure because she's making movies like this that, where are you going to see a movie like this? You're really not. There really isn't something that really does it this adult, this grown up, this sort of like with a deft hand, behind it. There's no fat to this. Also, there's no extra drama added where most directors would do something like that. You know what I'm saying? This is like a solid film, so it should be led into the Criterion. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I agree. I really enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed the overall storyline about it. I thought that I did read that it was a little draggy, that it is a slow burn, but I didn't feel that after watching it. I don't know why. There's parts where some of the scenes are a little bit, they kind of linger, but I feel like that has a purpose. It serves a purpose in the film. She did do a good job conveying those moments of nervousness and anxiety, and the actors. Although I'm not a huge fan of Dakota Fanning's acting, I think her role in the film, she nailed it. She does a good job at portraying the person that she's supposed to be.
Yeah, and this is the guy who brought Hagazusa, where there was no good acting. So think about that.
There you go.
Are we gonna bring that up every?
Yeah, it seems like every episode that's just gonna be my thing.
We absolutely will. You say something like that.
That's fine. But
you want us to bring up Valerie?
But I enjoy Jesse Eisenberg's roles when he does stuff like this too. It kind of puts you aside from him doing always the geeky guy,
it's a little more
the
complex.
nerdy guy. Yeah. He kind of, you can see that he has
He was
acting
still a
chops.
geek in this.
Well,
right,
but-
but it's
but
not
not-
the same.
but not the
It's
same way.
different.
Just go on.
Come on.
I'm
Yes,
just
okay,
joking,
he was
yeah.
just a geek, but I mean, it wasn't just a geek.
Sorry, I didn't have a computer in this one.
He had to go to the library to use a computer. But no, but it does show you too. Like, they do a good job at showing that what they stated in the beginning, as far as like no small victory can be overlooked, and these guys were just in it for the wrong reasons. I'm gonna vote it in too. I'm gonna vote this film into.
Of course you are.
Yeah, I really liked it though. It's really good.
Solid ass film.
I would suggest anyone to watch it. It's a good thriller suspense too in certain parts. So it has a little bit of everything. Not so much like the other film, but it does give you a little bit of, minus maybe like the humor. But it does give you those that sense of thriller, suspensefulness. It's not just a dramatic movie, and the filming of it, the cinematography is really good.
Oh, off the fucking charts. Again, I was like we talked about it's dark most of the time, but I mean, what you need to see, you see, and what you don't need to see, you don't see, and that's what works,
definitely.
You know?
Yeah.
Mondo,
You see what you see.
Mondo, you letting it in, or are you gonna fucking say some smart ass shit?
I'm sorry. But no, I thought I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about this film because I really heard nothing about it, you know, just from right now earlier when you told us to watch it this week or whatever, you know. And I have never seen Wendy and Lucy or First Cow or any of her films too, so I wasn't sure what I was in for. But I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. It was one of those like things where like how I said earlier, like she lets things play out and like characters give you like hints of who they are, like just by their actions and like simple things they say, you know. It's not like I'm this, you know. You see that they're this, you know, that they're like not in it for the right reasons. Like Jesse Eisenberg, he just wants to be noticed or be some like, you know, like he wants people to look at him like, oh, this guy did something, you know, and he's not doing anything. And Dakota Fanning, she's just naive. She just read some books and she's not really thinking about the whole picture, you know.
Right.
And that's one of those great lines too when she's talking about the ocean and how it's gonna be gone, and then Peter Sarsgaard challenges her, you know, like he says, oh, so maybe science is wrong, you know. Like he asked her why are the fish gonna be gone or whatever.
Come in my room.
Yeah. That's exactly how he got in her room.
Every environmentalist is using the fish line.
Yeah.
But when he tells the ocean's gonna rise, I'll show you something's gonna rise. Come to my
but you know he's not really like this environmentalist because he tells her like, oh well, you should go fishing before they're all gone. Yeah. You know, like it's like just enjoys these things. You know.
He meant sex, is what you're saying. You should go fishing before it's all gone. He meant his semen before it dries up.
But you know, like it's just like he just wants you. He wants her to enjoy these little things. You know. And stuff like that. Like, it's not like, so you know he's not really for the cause. He just wants to blow some shit up.
Well, he's just like a convict who just wants to live off the grid for that reason, because he just wants to do crimes. It's not because he really cares about, like,
he doesn't.
What's up. Like, he doesn't care about, like, trees and animals, you know? All he cares about is getting drunk and, like...
fucking shit up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
exactly.
then in the whole movie, he's calling Jesse Eisenberg, like, Dee's like acting like this, like, and he can't, like, you know. But
what you get from that too is that probably the reason why she's calling him is probably because he was probably talking to her as well and probably being like a snake about it, you know. And so he just tried to play them two against each other.
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I'm saying? That's what you feel
for sure.
You know, and you don't even need to like be told that. There's
no,
never a scene where they're
just
he's
like, he's a snake. You know, they're all like,
for sure.
And just that little thing, like, they already get that paranoia like immediately. You know, it's like everything. You know, like. It's right there. Like as soon as it happens, you know, like they blow it up. They're already feeling that like, oh shit, like
fuck yeah.
But yeah, so I'm gonna let it in because I've enjoyed this film so much. I mean, I was surprised at how much I liked it. Like Jesse, like you know, you see Jesse Eisenberg's like stupid face and you just like want to punch it like immediately.
Oh wow.
You know, like I don't know, he just has that face.
Okay. Yeah.
And I want to punch this movie into the collection.
All right. Well, hell yeah, we've blown up the dam. It's coming in, but still, either way, Nacho, we want to hear what you have to say. Even if you don't want to let it in or whatever, please say what you want to say.
Well, I was gonna let it in anyway.
No, I know,
I need some enthusiasm over there.
We need some we need you to like say something.
Well, I thought it was good.
He's all wild.
Well,
He's all well. I was gonna let it in. See you later.
That damn looked nice. No.
Dam's blown up. It's already coming in. The water's loose, but we still want to hear what you have to say. What are your final thoughts?
No, this is my first film from this director, and reading up on her and her whole minimalistic style. No.
Wow.
You know, no.
Throwing some fancy words over there.
You know,
no reason to say it like that.
No substance.
You said you described this as a slow burn. I mean, I guess you can say that, but I didn't feel like it dragged. You know, I felt like the development of all that.
I don't think a slow burn is a drag. What I'm saying, I'm just kind of saying that for the layman, for the people that don't really watch That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Yes.
some people who don't really watch films that, aren't just it's like
there's only one story, like, and you just follow that one story, kind of, like there's no other things really
it's
going
not even
on.
that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that most people will watch a film and slow burn. What I mean is that like you need to pay attention to it. That's what I'm saying. Like a lot of people just need things.
They're gonna
to
say,
be
"What
in
is
their
this
face.
about?" Like immediately.
Well, they need people to say. They need people to be in their faces about the plot and about the characters that they are. They need to know. A lot of people that watch movies need to have the character be like, "I'm this way. I'm the bad guy," or "I'm this thing." Whereas here, there's no really that. It's just sort of you have to watch it in order to kind of see what that.
Well, you
becomes.
need to see it develop. You need
Yes.
and it takes its time.
So
and that's fine.
That's all
but
I mean by some people might think that slow burn is.
No,
boring.
I get it, but yeah. I'm just saying it. I'm to our listeners. It didn't.
I know slow burn
It
is
didn't.
not boring. You're a bunch of cretins. If
No,
you
I
think
didn't
slow
say
burn is
boring. I said I didn't drag. Like I'm saying.
That's what I mean. Drag.
So I was a fan of this movie. This. What is it? A thriller? Is that what we're saying? Comedy thriller? No, I'm just kidding. No.
I mean, it really doesn't matter.
No, but
it's a thriller. It's a dramatic thriller.
And just seeing these characters, again, just like Shallow Grave, this event take place, and for them to see how they react, how they adjust, where the story goes. Again, I was a fan of. I'm still a fan of Eisenberg's character from beginning to end, just because even though he was still kind of mysterious, I feel like there's more to him that you don't know. But I enjoyed that. I don't know, man. This movie, it looked great. It was shot in Washington, I believe. This movie,
Portland.
Was it really
Oregon?
Yeah.
Well, some North.
Yeah,
some
Oregon.
North,
Yeah, the state.
but the whole time.
Well, they talk about Portland at one point where they go to blow up the dam, right?
Well, I mean, that's what they say, but where was... I mean...
It says they're from... They have Portland or Oregon IDs,
Well,
so...
It's in Oregon. We don't need to get to the schematics.
Anyways, but, you get that
like
green
that.
feel. Anyways, but, no, I was a fan of this movie. It's good.
Wait, what dam did they blow? No, I'm just kidding.
The story... Again, I liked it from beginning to end. It being... I felt like... I like movies that are dark and that tone, and you can just feel it like developing. They buy that boat, they buy that what is it, ammonium? No, what's it
fertilizer?
Called? The fertilizer, right?
Yeah.
Just all that, and I'm like, and I hadn't said this yet, but at first, because I thought, again, yes, they're talking about like little events to make an impact, but you have that feel that Jesse Eisenberg and Dakota Fanning want to do something greater than that. Right. I thought they were gonna like blow up something publicly, like where like there's people or something. Like I thought they were gonna go like kind of like
that
really
way.
dark at first, which it wasn't, which is cool.
Yeah.
You don't want to see people blown up, but no, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
they
really
just
cool.
blow up one person and that fucking tears them apart.
Well, they didn't blow up that person. I think he drowned from.
You keep saying I don't know, but you have to know because we're recording a podcast. So please know.
What I do know is I'm letting this movie in. I was a fan. It's cool. I do want to check out more of her work just because I haven't seen anything from her.
You should. Shit, it might be off of the Criterion channel.
And does she have
now.
anything after this movie? I mean, this
Yes,
movie's...
First Cow.
Oh, so that okay. So
And then,
First Cow. Yes.
Yeah, and then
So
I believe.
this is so she hasn't done a movie in a while.
No, she has other. But I'm saying the most recent one is First Cow.
First Cow, okay.
I believe Meek's Cutoff might have been after this. She has others after. Certain Women was after this. Yeah, she has a few after this. And again, they're not all this kind of same vibe. They're not like thrillers, but I think they're like. To me, they're really fascinating character studies about like people that you're just kind of like, oh, they're gonna make a movie kind of about these people. But
Yeah.
I think that's why she's like an important American filmmaker and an American like voice in filmmaking because she's like doing those stories where like I mean, does anybody really care about like two friends going on a camping trip in Portland? Like that's her movie Old Joy, but. Again, it doesn't have those big dramatic scenes. It just really flows very well. And this right here, I think, is a perfect example of why she's, why we need her. Why we need her in the collection. Well, she's in the collection already, but this movie needs to be in the collection. It's in now. Criterion, please give us a call. We will do the box art. We will do all of it.
We'll fight you.
We'll do an essay. We'll do commentary on it. I will interview Kelly Reichardt. I will interview her. I will ask her all kinds of strange things. It'll be a great release. Thank you guys for listening. Please follow us on Instagram at Criterion Cult Pod And if you're on Twitter, follow at Criterion Cult, which is that's just the Twitter handle.
Comments are always welcome. We love to hear what you guys think. Please let us know.
And if you follow us on Instagram, our individual handles on Instagram are in the bio. So if you want to follow us individually, I guess, if you guys want to say yours, you can. My Instagram handle is at Young Jane Fonda. Very stupid, but if you want to follow me, you can. Again, if you guys want to.
Yeah, of course. Mine's He's Off the Map. It's Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind quote, but yeah. In case you're wondering, in case you're wondering,
hold on.
He's Off the Map.
So your handle is at He's Off the Map.
Yes.
And then it's based on Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, because you just put that was a word salad, and I was like, it's at He's Off the Map, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless.
Sorry, I got a little nervous.
I'm just
give my tag.
No, okay, yeah, all right. Anybody else?
Yeah, mine's at Mr. Beast 88. Mine's in reference to Mogwai, just in case anyone cares. Mogwai the band.
Mondo, tell us your lame ass reference.
No. I'm not gonna go with this. If you want to follow me, I'm at save_Mondo.
Hell yeah.
I'm a cinephile.
Thank you guys for listening. Please listen to the other episodes if you can. Have a good one.